I'm often looking at how the world that's built around us shapes or influences or even manipulates how we live in the world. The title of the show is called Energetics, and it's a study of the flow of energy and its transformations. And I'm really using energy as a metaphor for the essence of life and the self. I'm using a kind of incense as an artwork in this show. It's coming out of another project I did that was using text-based data to analyze mood of a population, and that manifested as like this data that was being transformed into this like digital smoke cloud. It's the first thing that you will sense when you enter the gallery is the scent of something burning. It sort of brings you to the present space of the exhibition. Sense Object is capturing all of text-based social media data of January 1st of all of the United States, and that's processed for sentiment, condensed into this tiny optical crystal, and that's like being held atop a piece of rose quartz. So there's a kind of juxtaposition of this like massive scale brainwave of one individual person in front of this tiny optical crystal that has millions of people's emotions held like a diamond. So there's a sort of play between scale and time. The pranayama series uses various types of like organic materials that often have a kind of energy to them. And for this exhibition, I'm using rose quartz, which is an energy stone in like New Age practices, but also itself is piezoelectric. New Age practices are really just a metaphor for, humankind trying to understand or systematize things that we are unknowable about, like human life or even the way that technology itself works. It's really trying to create science out of something very mysterious and mystical. There are jacuzzi jet nozzles that are like alluding to this notion of invisible pressure, which is also something I'm thinking of the metaphor for like how we live under invisible pressures of technology and capitalism. Negative Entropy is this like long, ongoing series that I do that are audio recordings I've done at various types of production sites. These audio recordings are transcribed into visual spectrograms, which are then woven into textiles and presented sort of as wall works or like paintings. And so for the PACE show, I kind of thought about trying to make a new body of work of negative entropy that was an image of brainwave activity, something so infinitesimal. So you're seeing the sort of like extreme shift of like something so small or invisible into this like big architectural size and scale to sort of draw out the sense of being so small and the world seeming so massive. The flower arranging becomes another sort of like experiential or even like a performative element in the exhibition. Each arrangement changes every week. There'll be a different set of flowers. These flowers will receive a transfusion of fluorescence, so they actually are emitting light, a kind of UV radiation in a sense. And while this is glowing, it's also like dying. So every week, by the end of the week, they'll be wilting, and then the next week will be changed with a new arrangement. The flowers become this sort of both representation of the world or the universe, and also that things are constantly changing. We ourselves, our identities, are not fixed data points, but rather everybody's always like transforming and changing over time. I'm really thinking about that experience that is, we're just a blip in this long continuum of like geologic time, but also just a blip in this like fast moving technological age that we're living, and how to be an individual in this sort of like, the immensity of the world and under the regime of technology even,